Mogul Motivation, empowering and inspiring entrepreneurs and dream chasers worldwide, 1 week at a time. Presented by True Stories Media. And I'm your host, Antoine Twiz Taylor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back. I'm happy that you are here. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is for the aspiring entrepreneur trying to get over that hump and make things happen. This podcast is for anybody with a dream that wants to go forward and accomplish that dream. And whatever platform you're listening to Mogul Motivation on right now, whether it be YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, it does not matter. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I would surely appreciate that. And there are a lot of goals I've been actively pursuing for over 10 years. In my Facebook memories, there are things from 2012, 2013 that pop up referencing goals that I'm still actively chasing right now. I have a vision board, but it's in the format of a bingo card right now on my wall. And some of those goals are goals that I established over a decade ago. There are goals that's been written down in my notes app on my phone, written in my journal on my computer. These goals are still looming large over my head and seemingly out of reach, right? But nonetheless, two of those goals I am very, very close to accomplishing finally. Here in 2023, I'm grateful to say that. I have not accomplished these goals. It's not written in ink yet, but nonetheless, I am closer to these goals than I've ever been. And because I'm closer to accomplishing these goals than I ever been, that means I am going to accomplish these goals very soon. Now, what's the difference between 2023 and 2012 or 2013? One could say is wisdom, right? Because through trial and error, you gain wisdom. You learn, right? You learn how to do things better. One could say it's confidence. I have a lot more confidence in 2023 than I did in 2012 and 2013. I didn't have the confidence that I needed back then. So because I didn't have the confidence, I didn't believe that I deserved to obtain these goals. It could be competence, right? I'm more skilled. I'm more knowledgeable in my craft and in my industry than I was in 2012, 2013. So all of those are factors on why I'm closer than I ever been to achieving these goals now in 2023. But the biggest factor, and I truly believe this, the biggest factor on why I'm close to achieving these goals now, and while I will achieve these goals now in 2023 opposed to a decade ago, is because I'm no longer blocking my own blessings. Let me tell y'all something. There are destructive habits in your life right now that you have been so ingrained and conditioned to believe they are normal. And even if you don't believe they are normal, you still cling to them because they provide you some sort of comfort, some sort of relief in times of turmoil, in times of pain. You are blocking your own blessings. I truly believe in my life, that's why I'm closer than I ever been to accomplishing and achieving these goals. It's because I'm no longer blocking my own blessings. I had to do some deep introspection. I had to do this multiple times over the years. But there comes a point in your life where you literally have to resurrect yourself. You literally have to resurrect yourself. There's no more resuscitation. You see, resuscitation means you are coming back to life as you used to be. But resurrection is you are transformed to something else. I have to literally transform myself. How do you transform yourself though, Twiz? You transform yourself by literally addressing the problem. If you're not honest with nobody else, if you're not honest with your spouse, if you're not honest with your family, if you're not honest with your therapist, you need to be honest with yourself. It's one thing to lie to all those people, but it's another thing to continue to lie to yourself. And I have been lying to myself for over 10 years, for longer than that. If we're going to be real, I'm just talking about my entrepreneurial journey. I have been lying to myself for so long, telling myself that, yeah, I believe I can do this. Yeah, I'm going to get this done. Yeah, I'm going to do this. But all the while, I'm still relapsing to the same destructive behaviors and bad habits, destructive habits, terrible habits, poor choices. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. Remember poor choices, POOR choices? I have been doing this for so long because it brought me temporary relief, temporary comfort, a temporary escape from the reality of my life and my entrepreneurial journey, the things that I felt like I couldn't control. So I would do things that I still could control, but I knew those things would not benefit me in the long run. I have been allowing destructive behaviors and poor choices, POOR our choices for so long to self-sabotage myself. That is why I have not been able to achieve and accomplish all of these things on my bingo card list, all of these things on my notes app, all of these things in my journals. This is why I haven't been able to accomplish them. It's because I've been blocking my own blessings. It's not because I lack confidence. Yeah, that's a factor, but the confidence comes and goes. I had confidence at some moments and I still didn't accomplish them. It's not because I wasn't competent enough, because I got smarter, I got more skilled every single year. It's not because I lacked faith, because if I lacked the faith, I wouldn't even be here. I had the faith. Even if my faith was as small as a mustard seed, I still had the faith. It's literally because I was in my own way. God was like, okay, I hear what you want, bruh. I know what you want, Twiz. You want X, Y, and Z, and you can have X, Y, and Z. It's sitting right here for you, but you got to be willing to walk through that door, and you don't want to walk through that door because you rather go back to where it's familiar. You rather go back to where you know where you going. You rather go back to where you are, you know what the room looks like, you know what the room feels like. But when you want to step into this bigger room, when you want to step into this brighter room, you can have everything in this room. Everything you requested is in this room sitting for you. I have the table ready for you, but you got to walk to that table and you got to sit down at the table. But until you do that, I can't help you, bro. That's what God told me. God told me every single thing that you want, you can have, but you got to get out of your own way and you have to resurrect yourself. Look, I'm recording this podcast April 12th, 2023. I'm recording this podcast the morning that it's going to be released because Easter Sunday just passed, Resurrection Sunday just passed, and the message, the sermon could not have been at a better time for me in my life. Shout out to Reverend Otis Moss III, Trinity United Church of Christ. He preached about the same thing I'm talking about right now, which is where I'm basically remixing it from. I'm borrowing it because it resonated so deeply with me and it hit home because it's true. He said that resurrection is transformation. Jesus was resurrected. He didn't just come back to life. Jesus transformed to what Jesus was always destined to be in the first place. Jesus came back to life, yes, but he didn't come back to life as flesh. He didn't come back to life as he was before. He came back to life as something greater than he had ever been. And in my life, that's the point I'm at right now. I've been revived many times. Many times over my life, over my entrepreneurial career, I have been revived. I have been, brought back to life from dead situations, and I'm grateful for that. But I was never resurrected. I was never transformed to my greater self. And it's at that point in my life where I have no choice but to be transformed. I have to. I'm 34 years old, and age ain't got nothing to do with it. But the fact is, time is going by quicker and quicker, and yet I'm still on the hamster wheel. It comes a point in my life and in your life where you have to accept the reality that you have been blocking your own blessings and you have been self-sabotaging yourself, and you have to resurrect yourself. You have to transform yourself so you can be the greater self and a greater version of your entrepreneurial self, your personal self, your emotional self, your mental self, for yourself first and foremost, for your family, for your spouse, and for your community. But you can't bless nobody else unless you bless yourself first. Unless you do things for yourself first. Unless you tell yourself, I have been doing this thing for too long and it's not working. I have been engaged in these destructive habits, this bad behavior, these poor choices for too long and it's not working. I need to be transformed, and until I transform myself, I cannot walk into that room that God has prepared for me. So on your journey as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or as you try to achieve a goal, ladies and gentlemen, yes, look at confidence. You might need more confidence. Yes, look at competence. You need more competence in your industry. Facts. Yes, look at your faith. Maybe you need to have a deeper faith. Yes, but at the end of the day, look at your behavior that you developed from your childhood, from your younger self, and look how you are still engaged in that hamster wheel of destructive and poor choices, all that bad behavior. Look at that pattern. And until you are honest with yourself about that, you will never stop blocking your own blessings. So that's my message this morning, ladies and gentlemen, on this Resurrection Week. Right? This is my Resurrection Week. Resurrection Sunday just passed. This is my resurrection week. And because of all this renewed mindset and this transformation, I am closer now than I ever been to accomplishing some of the major goals in my life that I have been actively pursuing for over 10 years. So if this podcast has benefited you in any way, shape, or form, I ask for two things as always. Number one, please leave a 5-star review. And number two, please pass it on to a friend that may benefit from it as well. So let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. When I accomplish these goals, I am happily going to tell you what these goals are on this podcast. But trust and believe me, 2023 is the year that it happens, because I have been transformed, I have been resurrected, and I'm ready to receive everything that God prepared for me at that table. Have a great day, everybody. I'll talk to you next week.